Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Anwar Haziq bin AMIRNORDIN. I would like to present about the background of Brazil. Brazil, or the Federative Republic of Brazil, is one of the largest countries in the world. Brazil is located in South America and in Latin America. Brazil also is the world's fifth largest country and the seventh most populous. Capital of Brazil is Brasilia, and its most populous city is Sao Paulo. There are 26 states and one federal district. The population of citizens in this large country is approximately 210 million people in 2023 compared to year 2022, which is around 215 million people, and this show that the population increased by 2 million. Brazil exports 27.4 billion and import 19.1 billion, resulting in a positive trade balance of 8.22 billion. Main exports in Brazil were soybeans, crude petroleum, iron ore, soybean meal, and poultry meat, while the top imports were refined petroleum, crude petroleum, motor vehicles, especially in parts and accessories, vaccine, blood, anti-sera, toxin, and cultures and potassic fertilizer. Brazil is a global leader in mining, agriculture, manufacturing, and it also has a robust and expanding service industry. It is major producer of a variety of minerals, including iron ore, tin, bauxite, manganese, gold, quartz, diamonds, and other jewels, and it also exports significant amounts of consumer goods like steel, automobiles, and electronics. Brazil also is a global leader in agriculture, where this country is the world's largest exporter, especially for coffee and soybeans. For employment and unemployment, employment rate in Brazil increased to 56.2% in June 2023 with 98.3 million people, while the unemployment rate in the same year decreased to 8.3% with 9.1 million people. Brazil's GDP dropped from 250,161.4.89 Brazilian real million in a fourth quarter of 2022 to 2472319.62 Brazilian real million in the first quarter of 2023 based on World Bank data. This happens due to some factors like constriction of the money supply, persistently rising inflation, and weak global demand. All three of these things will probably have a negative impact on investment, exports, and private consumption. Based on the article in Reuters written by Marcela Ayres in June 2, 2023, Minister of Planning, Budget and Management of Federal Government of Brazil, Simon Tebet, said to journalists the economy in the country will increase to 2.3% in year 2023 without inflationary pressure, and the Finance Ministry said the latest data could lead it to raise a current outlook for 1.9% growth this year. This shows that economics in Brazil will increase with the efforts and plans drawn up by the government. But this country still faces economic problems such as slow activities due to weaker private consumption and export.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hakim bin Muhammad Hanif. I would like to explain about types of inflation in Brazil. First and foremost, demand pull inflation, when aggregate demand exceeds supply, causing prices to rise. Secondly, cost push inflation. Increased production costs lead to higher prices for goods and services. Next, imported inflation. Changes in exchange rates affect import price, contributing to inflation. And last but not least, structural inflation. Economic difficulties like supply bottlenecks and inefficiencies lead to limited supply and inflationary pressures. Next, let's proceed with types of unemployment in Brazil. The first one is cyclical unemployment. It arises from economic downturns and business cycles. Next, structural unemployment, caused by long-term changes in the economic structure. Other than that, frictional unemployment, temporary and occurs during job transitions or entry into the workforce. And lastly, seasonal unemployment, affects industries with seasonal variations in demand. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Danish bin ROSLI, and today I'll discuss the causes of inflation in Brazil. Inflation in Brazil stems from the first one is excessive government spending and mismanagement, leading to budget deficit and printing money. Second one is currency depreciation, increasing import costs, especially in energy and technology sector. Third is supply side constraint, including insufficient investment in infrastructure and bureaucratic inefficiencies. Fourth is the wages price spiral, where rising wages and production costs drive up the price. Fifth is the monetary policy and central bank action, such as expansionary measures that can lead to inflationary pressures. Last one is external shocks like global commodity price fluctuation and geopolitical event. Addressing these causes requires sound fiscal management, structural reform, and careful monetary policy coordination. Next, let's explore the effects of inflation in Brazil. First, reduce purchasing power and income inequality. Second, uncertainty and reduce investment. Third, diminish consumer confidence and spending. Fourth, distorted resource allocation. Fifth, negative impact on savings and investment. Sixth, wage price spiral and labor market concern. Lastly, impact on fixed income earner and retires. These effects of inflation have far-reaching consequences for individual, businesses, and the overall economy in Brazil. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Ishima bin Muhammad AZARI, and my message number is 2022-966429. Alright. I would like to explain about how to solve the problem inflation and unemployment. Alright, so Brazil's government must pursue expansionary fiscal or monetary measures to boost aggregate demand in order to lower the result of unemployment. It is advised to fiscal policy to reduce unemployment in Brazil by boosting government spending. By doing so, it will generate new development projects which, due to the multiplier effect, will raise aggregate demand. The rise in production will lower cyclical unemployment. Brazil can lower the interest rate for monetary policy. This will boost overall demand and output, which will reduce cyclical unemployment. The Brazilian government responded to hyperinflation by using multiple periods of price freezes to artificially stop inflation. This was effective in managing hyperinflation for a few months. Alright, next we have monetary policy has three policies which are the central bank, the cost of credit operations, and monetary aggregates. The central bank took steps to mitigate the pandemic's impact and minimize the impact of the upward or fall in activity levels. This include decreasing reserve requirements and loosening bank collateral and capital restriction in order to increase liquidity in the economy. In terms of the cost of credit operations, typical interest rate were reduced in 2020. The general widely average annual lending rate fell 4.2% to 18.4%, while the risk-free rate plummeted 7.9 percentage points to 25.5%. The monetary aggregate base increased by the 29.6% in 2020 this compared to 4.8% the previous year, while the means of payment increased by 39.1%. Alright, next we have fiscal policy. In real terms, total federal government income in 2020 was 13.1%, lower than in 2019. Due to rate cuts and decreased economic activity, the highest losses in tax revenue were in taxes on financial operations, as well as the contribution for the financing of social security, which is coffins, which fell by 10.1%, and income tax, where revenue fell by 6.7%. The federal government spending increased by 31.1% in 2020. Economic activity resulted income increased by 28.5% in real terms. Tax collections increased by 28.9%, particularly in areas that follow the activity cycle. The revenue from the tax on industrialized products climbed by 46.5%, and profit taxes such as the social contribution on net profits also increased. Revenue from income taxes climbed by 19.6%. Alright, lastly, we have unemployment, which has a variety of sorts and reasons. It is generally defined as the state of being unable to obtain a job despite having the desire and ability to do so. Unemployment may have detrimental impacts on an economy. To solve the problem of unemployment, both monetary and fiscal policy can be used to stimulate economic growth and create jobs. Alright, so that's all from me. Thank you.
In conclusion, all of causes of inflation and unemployment, such as fiscal policy and government spending, currency depreciation, supply side constraints and bottlenecks, wage price spirals, monetary policy, and central and bank actions can be solved if the country takes the right action to decrease the problem cases. By doing all of these ways, the good name of the country will be perceived, and the number of countries that want to cooperate with the country will increase in order to increase economic activities to increase the profits of each country.